From Michael Vick being involved in dogfighting to a scandal that involved around 100 escorts, here are some of the most infamous NFL scandals. Starting with the time an entire team vanished overnight. Okay, have you heard about the Baltimore Colts scandal back in '84? Cause let me tell you, it was a mess. So, the owner of the team, Robert Irsay, was so fed up with the low attendance and lousy stadium that he was always threatening to move the whole franchise out of town. But nobody was expecting what happened next. On the night of March 28, 1984, while a blizzard was hitting Baltimore, the Colts pulled off a secret getaway in a convoy of moving trucks, heading straight for Indianapolis. Can you believe it? Nobody saw it coming. And get this, the move was apparently aided by a friend of the Indianapolis mayor who owned the Mayflower Moving Company. The cherry on top of this scandal was that Irsay didn't even have the decency to give the mayor a heads up before sneaking out of town. The Baltimore Sun called his move grotesquely appropriate. What a mess. It's a shame that Baltimore had to lose its beloved Colts in such a shady way. But here's the kicker. Years later, the Cleveland Browns actually moved to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Ravens. Talk about karma, right? And if you thought that was crazy, this next one might leave you stunned. It's the dogfighting drama. Michael Vick and his dogfighting scandal was one of the most chaotic episodes. So, back in 2007, it was the talk of the town and shook the NFL to its core. Apparently, Vick was accused of running a whole illegal dogfighting ring, and it was massive. Like dogs from all over the country were involved. Jeez. He got hit with extortion, gambling, and animal cruelty charges. And the NFL commissioner at the time, Roger Goodell, was not having it.
Near future.
Do you have any plans to meet with him in the near future?
I do expect to meet with him, yes.
You don't know when that'll be, though? Or
No. No, but we're not going to get any details right now. When we make a decision or I make a decision, I will make sure that all of you are aware of it and have the opportunity to ask questions. So.
He straight up banned Vick for life and called his behavior cruel and reprehensible. Can't argue with that, man. And later, Vick even did time in prison for his actions, serving 21 months in federal prison. But the dude made a comeback. He returned to the NFL in 2009 with the Philadelphia Eagles, and even won the Comeback Player of the Year award. Plus, he got a Pro Bowl award the next year. I guess he must have learned some serious lessons while he was locked up. But still, that whole scandal was wild. Who knew the NFL could get so crazy? Anyway, this next one was not as crazy, but still pretty outrageous. It's the infamous Bounty Gate. Okay, so basically a bunch of Saints players, including their head coach Sean Payton and defensive captain Jonathan Vilma, got suspended by the league for their involvement in a scheme where players were offered bonuses for injuring opposing players. Like, what the heck? Apparently, Vilma even offered $10,000 to anyone who could knock out quarterbacks Brett Favre or Kurt Warner during playoff games in 2009. And get this, the money was allegedly provided by their defensive coordinator, Greg Williams. It's like they were playing to hurt people instead of just playing to win. So, Peyton and Vilma got suspended for the entire season, and 3 other players and the Saints GM got suspended for multiple games. Williams got suspended indefinitely, but was eventually reinstated. With Peyton out, Joe Vitt was named interim head coach, but he got suspended too for knowing about the bounty system and not doing anything about it. And the team's record and image suffered too. From a 13-3 season in 2011, they went down to a 7-9 in 2012. And their defense set a record for most yards allowed in a single season. Yikes. And while we're on the subject of reputations taking a hit, how can I not mention this next one? I mean, the Love Boat scandal was actually insane. Back in October of 2005, members of the Minnesota Vikings NFL team made headlines for throwing a massive sex boat party with around 100 escorts. It was a scandal that rocked the NFL community and tarnished the reputations of the players involved. Reports indicate that 17 members of the Vikings roster were allegedly involved in a party that took place on board a pair of houseboats on Lake Minnetonka. The incident was later referred to as the Love Boat scandal, and it's not hard to see why. According to sources, the event involved around 100 women, most of whom were escorts flown in from Atlanta and Florida. Some of the players were said to have engaged acts in front of crew members, while others reportedly watched from a distance. In the aftermath of the scandal, several players, including Smoot, quarterback Dwante Culpepper, Brian McKinney, and Mo Williams, all were charged with indecent conduct, disorderly conduct, and lewd or lascivious conduct. The fallout from the scandal also led to the firing of head coach Mike Tice later that year. He was replaced by Brad Childress, who managed to lead the Vikings to the NFC Championship game in 2009 for the first time in 9 years. That said, up next is a scandal that was as famous as the Love Boat scandal, maybe even more. Of course, I'm talking about Spygate. In September 2007, the New England Patriots were embroiled in a controversy that would come to be known as Spygate. During a Week 1 game against the New York Jets, the Patriots were caught illegally videotaping the Jets' coaching signals from an unauthorized location. The incident happened just before halftime. This was when a 26-year-old video assistant named Matt Estrella was caught capturing hand signals from New York's defensive assistants on video. The Jets' second-year head coach, Eric Mangini, who was previously an assistant for New England under head coach Bill Belichick, had reportedly grown suspicious of the Patriots' tactics.
80,000 people saw it. Everybody sideline saw it. Everybody sees our guy in front of 80,000 people. I mean, there he is. So it was wrong. We were disciplined for it. That's it.
The Patriots eventually admitted to wrongdoing later in the week, and after an investigation, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell fined Belichick $500,000, the NFL maximum, and the team $250K. The Patriots were also required to forfeit their first-round pick in the 2008 draft. The scandal rocked the NFL and led to accusations that they'd been cheating for years. Several other teams claimed to have suspected the Patriots of stealing signs, but the allegations were difficult to prove. In the aftermath of Spygate, the NFL destroyed the game tape, a decision that remains controversial to this day. The incident also tarnished the legacy of Belichick, one of the most successful coaches in NFL history. Though this wasn't the only scandal that involved a coach. The domestic abuse scandal also rocked the NFL. By now, we all know about NFL's not-so-clean track record when it comes to handling scandals. Spygate was crazy, but it wasn't an isolated event for some involved. The NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell himself, was involved in another controversy involving a domestic violence case. It was back in 2014, when Ray Rice, a running back for the Baltimore Ravens, was arrested and charged with third-degree aggravated assault for hitting his then-fiancée in an elevator in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The league announced a new policy on domestic violence and other assaults. But when Goodell suspended Rice for just 2 games, many were left disappointed. And to make matters worse, Goodell tried to defend Rice's behavior, which sparked outrage. Thankfully, the Ravens finally released Rice when a second video surfaced of him knocking down his fiancée, and Mr. Commissioner made the suspension permanent. But let's not forget, Rice was charged with severe assault and applied to a first-time offender rehabilitation center. Although the court later reversed his sentence, he never played professionally again, and many felt justice was finally served. It's just another reminder that even the NFL isn't immune to scandal and controversy. Anyway, that's all I had for you today on the most infamous NFL scandals of all time.